Your mindset is the root of your reality. If you can change your mindset, then you can change your life. Welcome, Master Your Vibe. Mind bright, vibe right. The mindset reboot for those ready for some calibration to their vibration. I'm your host, King Yes Indeed, your guide for this vibrational journey, here to help you conquer any mental blocks, fine-tune your inner frequency, and navigate to your higher self. If you're ready to make your mind bright so you can vibe right, then you're in the right place. Let the journey begin. Yes, indeed. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Master Your Mindset, the 7 dimensions of mindset. And today we are going to be talking about sleep, sleep, sleep. Why sleep is the most underrated mindset tool. And I'm going to start off today with asking you a serious question. When was the last time that you truly honored your sleep? When was the last time that you truly respected how much time you need to sleep? I'm not talking about you just collapsed from exhaustion. I'm not talking about you done worked hard all week and then you're gonna catch up on the weekend. I'm not talking about that kind of sleep. I'm talking about true sleep with intention. When was the last time you treated sleep as one of the most important tools for your growth and your overall well-being? When was the last time you did that? We live in a culture that glorifies the hustle, that glorifies pulling all-nighters, and then tells us that, I'll sleep when I'm dead and rest is for the weak and sleep is the cousin of death. All these things. Here's the crazy part. Without sleep, your mindset is fragile, right? Your focus is all over the place, almost scatterbrained. Your emotions are unstable, and your ability to maximize every level of your being is just about impossible, right? You can manage, but you're not going to manage your function at your optimal self at the best possible level that you can be operating at. I want you to think about it. How many times have you pushed through fatigue, right? Just trying to get something done, right? How many times have you just tried to prove that you have discipline just only to realize later that you lost the focus? Now your temperament is erratic. You're snapping off at your loved ones or your friends. You have less patience. Whatever thing you're trying to do, you're less effective. You're not as focused. That's not strength. That's sabotage. We're sabotaging ourselves. And so the truth is, sleep, it shouldn't be considered a luxury. We should think more about sleep as a weapon, as a tool, as something that we absolutely must have. It's the most underrated mindset tool you have. And every hour that we neglect it, we are basically weakening our foundation that we are trying to build. And so in today's episode, what we are going to do, we are going to dismantle, we're going to break down, we're going to tear apart this lie that rest makes us lazy, that rest is for the weak. We're going to explore why sleep amplifies your mindset, right? We're going to explore how it affects your energy, how it affects your focus, how it affects your emotions, and most importantly, what we're going to do, just as always on every show, we're going to give you some practical tools to help you reclaim or design even a rest strategy so that sleep is not just an afterthought, right? Because if you really want to master your mindset, let me tell you right here, it starts in the hours that we are not awake. If you really want to master your mindset, it starts in the hours that we are not awake. So, why is sleep important, right? Many people would probably think this is a question that doesn't need to be answered. But the truth is, it's not passive, right? Sleep is actively restoring you, it is actively healing you, it is actively regenerating you. When you sleep, your brain literally begins to work, or it works in different ways, right? It clears out toxins, it strengthens your memory pathways, right? It reorganizes some of the things that you learned and picked up during the day. It kind of helps you make sense of it. And what that means is that your new habits and your new thoughts and the things that you've grown and learned, they don't really take root and they don't get locked in until you go to sleep, right? And so sleep helps reinforce some of those things that you've brought with you from the day previous, right, or from that specific day. Without it, your ability to focus, your to regulate emotions and manage stress, it declines rapidly. And I want you to think about this: how many times have you had a rough night and then the next day you were short tempered, not in the greatest mood? Whatever you did for work, you weren't at your highest level. You weren't focused. You messed up something. You forgot a whole bunch of things, or you were overwhelmed, right? Just felt like, I'm not here, right? That's not weakness. That's your biology, right? That's a real thing in nature, where if your body does not get enough rest or the proper rest that it needs, something has got to give. And a lot of times it is your temper, your focus, your emotions, or your mental well-being, right? And so sleep affects a lot of different areas. It affects, as we talked about, your emotional regulation. Poor sleep, right? It activates your brain's fear center, right? It makes it overactive. That means you have more anxiety, you have more irritability, and you have more reactivity. So what I mean by reactivity is when something happens, especially a crisis or a hardship, you have less ability to think your way through it. You have less times where you pause and really think about something. You just react because you're more emotional, right? It helps your cognitive performance, your memory, your focus, your creativity. So if you have a job where you're creative, like my whole family, my wife, my kids, even myself, right, we're artists. And so if we don't get enough sleep, we're going to have trouble focusing or being creative or utilizing the imaginative part of our minds, right? That is directly tied to the quality of rest that we have. And then of course our physical energy. The body repairs itself while you are sleeping, right? Not only body, right? Your immune system is affected by the amount of sleep that you get. Your muscle tissue and muscle growth, or lack thereof, is affected by how much you sleep. Your hormones can be affected by how much you sleep. So when I say sleep is a mindset tool, it's literal. Like, it's a literal tool that we need, and without it, it distorts the way we see things. Our energy wanes, our energy goes down, right? We forget certain things, so then our habits are all jacked up. Then our story becomes one of just trying to simply survive, right? And not thriving and not growing and not commanding or being present and developing in the moment. We talked about weakening focus, reaction time, and memory, right? I already have some memory issues due to bouts of PTSD and military trauma and things of that nature. But when there's a lack of sleep, that it just increases, right? It increases. And when I don't sleep, I find myself making more errors. My decision making is poor, and then I find myself in that mental fog, right? That lack of clarity, where I just can't seem to focus. It seems like I'm one or two steps behind. It just seems like things aren't lining up or coming together. Right. So if you are in any capacity where you need to solve problems at work, at home, right, in any relationship that you have, when you're just out and about trying to figure out and navigate life, something as simple as what the family is going to eat for dinner could be daunting. Something as simple as my credit card isn't working is going to seem daunting. Something as simple as, flat tire, the car is not working. Now you have to utilize a skill set to solve some problems, and you don't want to be in a space of poor decision making and mental fog when you need to take care of some of these things, right? A lack of sleep can also trigger mood swing. A lot of people have that when they are hungry, right? We call it hangry, right? And I have that. If I haven't eaten, yeah, I'm gonna have a little bit of an attitude until I get some food, and as soon as I get that food, right, then I'm kind of like back to normal, just like the Snickers commercial. Like I'm right back. I was acting like what, but I'm back, right? But it triggers mood swings, right? It triggers irritability. And if you already suffer from bouts of anxiety, it can increase those, right? Those mood swings, you don't want to be taking your frustrations out on those closest to you, right? Just based on proximity. That's the likelihood of what will happen, right? Your spouse, your children, your siblings, right? Your coworkers. You definitely don't want to take it out on anybody you love, but it could extend to someone like your boss, or if you deal with patients, and I work in a hospital, if you deal with patients, patients or visitors, right? Anybody can become a victim of, involuntary mood swings when you lack sleep. Okay. It makes you more susceptible and reactive to stress. So when you have stress or a stressful situation, you are more likely to overreact than to react normally, right? Because it decreases your ability to regulate your emotions and handle conflict, right? So any little thing, or not little thing, but any issue that comes up where you would normally assess and then think about it and then respond accordingly, you are just now operating purely off of emotions. You're in a space where your tolerance is low, right? Your fuse is non-existent, and one little thing can set you off. Your physical health, your immune system is affected, right? The very thing that keeps you well, the very thing that keeps us healthy, or one of the most important things that keeps us healthy, is our immune system, right? And we already suffer from a lot of things, right? We suffer from high blood pressure, we suffer from heart disease, diabetes, different types of cancers, right? I myself had prostate cancer, right? We have colon cancer, right? All breast cancer, a lot of different types of cancers we deal with, right? And sleep is one of the most important things or tools that can help deal with that. It's not a cure all, right? But when we talk about things that can benefit us, sleep is definitely one of them, because then it offsets stress and fatigue, and your body's going to need to be well rested, not fatigued, right, and not stressed to deal with some of those things, right? And then it increases our desire for those unhealthy foods, right? Who likes the donuts, right? Krispy Kremes. Who likes the fountain drinks or sodas? Like I used to drink Coke like it was nobody's business, right? And whenever I feel stressed, I'm like, man, I just need me a Coke, because it makes you feel good, right? It's a comfort food, right? So all those comfort foods that you want, what's yours? I don't know. Is it fried chicken? Is it apple pie? Is it pumpkin pie? Is it watermelon? Is it Skittles, his favorite type of candy, gummy worms? What is it? Because we all have one. And so when we are fatigued, we tend to eat those things or go to those things, one, because it's comfortable, but two, also because they typically have a high level of sugar, and it gives us an energy rush and boost. And so we feel awakened, right? And then it messes with our hormone imbalance, and I know my wife talks a lot about this. So sometimes when she eats the wrong thing, it could mess with that time of the month. It can mess with how you feel about yourself and self-esteem, things like that. So it can really, really throw your body chemistry into a place where it does not need to be. And so let's talk about some tools to improve our sleep. What are some things we can do? One of the things we can do is we can develop a sleep window, sleep time and a sleep window. I'm going to sleep between this hour and this hour, right? And you got to be strict with it. You got to be intentional about it, right? Anywhere between 8 and 10 hours or whatever is good for you. So if you're going to go to bed at 10 and wake up at 5, I think that's what I need for my sleep schedule. Stick to it. So for no reason, unless there's an emergency, you don't need to be up past 10 and you don't need to get up before 5. All right. And then make going to bed, make it a routine, make it a ritual, make it a system so that your body understands that at this time, right at this time, I am supposed to be sleeping. If you do it long enough, my military folk will understand. If you do it long enough, there you won't have any choice. It's like, man, so I know some people that still wake up at 5 a.m., 5:30 a.m. on the dot, no alarm clock, no prompting, because in the military they had you getting up at this hour to go work out, and that's still what they do. So create that routine. All right, now some sort of ritual at nighttime, right? A wind down ritual, like you can dim the lights, right? You can listen to music, right? You can meditate. We talked about that. You can do yoga, right? You can read. For those of us that like to write, you can do journaling, right? And we talk about that a lot on the show. And for those of you that don't have a journal, what you can do, or what I would love for you to do, is go ahead and click the link in the show description. Get yourself a copy of the official Master Your Mindset, the 7 Dimensions of Mindset journal, so you can go ahead and join along with the rest of the tribe in journaling from this show. All right. Talked a little bit about the high sugary drinks, the soda that I love, Coca-Cola. Yes, indeed. Um, we got to limit those stimulants, right? The caffeine, coffee, soda, energy drinks. And this one might hurt some of y'all, so you might want to. Some of y'all might want to close your ears for a moment. But the telephones and the blue screen, so your phone, your tablet, your laptop, your TV. If that's you who watches TV before or while you are preparing to go to bed, that is a huge hindrance of your sleep. That could be affecting, or could be a major reason why you are not getting the proper amount of sleep. Now, hey, your house, your rules, you pay for it. You pay for the internet. You do what you like. I'm just the messenger. I'm just giving you the information. All right, and then replace that doom scrolling on your phone with something that whatever calms you down. I'm not talking about chocolate chip cookies and milk, right? That used to be one of my go-tos as well. Man, I bake me uh, a whole line of cookies, chocolate chip cookies, have some milk, and eat that right before I go to bed. Can't do that. All that sugar is going to keep you up. It's going to keep you up, and it's going to hinder your sleep. And so we got to be mindful of all of these things. Now, Kings, as always, I love to leave you guys with some reflection prompts, things that you can reflect back on and think about as you go through this week and into the weekend. And then, of course, I need to leave you motivated and affirm some things with you. And when I say Kings, please understand I am talking about everyone, right? Even in historical research, you will find that, yes, many of our women were kings. And so everyone is a king in this tribe. So when I say kings, I mean everybody. If you hear my voice, you are a king. All right. So reflection prompts. Let's get into those. Reflection prompt number 1. Where and why am I trading rest for opportunity? And is it worth it? This one you got to look at, right? If you're trying to be productive, if you are trying to develop or take advantage of opportunities, are you doing that at the cost of rest? Where and why am I trading rest for opportunity? And is it worth it? Is it worth those late nights? Is it worth missing all that sleep? Is it worth fatigue? Is it worth the hit to the immune system? Right? Is it worth the anxiety and stress? Where and why am I trading rest for opportunity? And is it worth it? And that's critical. You got to answer, is it worth it? If you say yes, you're going to keep on doing what you're doing. But if you say no, it's time to change something. Reflection prompt number 2 is, if sleep was given as a prescription, would I need a bigger dosage? Yes, indeed. If sleep was given as a prescription, would I need a bigger dosage? That means if you are not sleeping enough, if you are not getting enough rest, and if you know this, if you are sacrificing sleep for production, for opportunity, for money, for whatever it is, right? If you are sacrificing those things, it might be time to increase the dosage. If sleep was given as a prescription, would I need a bigger dosage? Yes, indeed. And finally, what is the cost of treating sleep as optional in my life? Since you look at yourself, this is where we need to be introspective. Look at the circumstances of our life. Look at the circumstances of our health. Look at the circumstances of our emotional state. Look at the circumstances of our temperament. And then ask, what is the cost of treating sleep as optional in my life? And sleep may not be the end all be all. It might not be the one thing that is causing that, but it can definitely be a huge critical contributor to those things. What is the cost of treating sleep as optional in my life? And go ahead and reflect on those for this week. And if you see some areas of opportunity, go ahead and change them. Go ahead and adjust fire. Right now, let's go and get into some affirmations. Affirmation number 1: rest is a strategy. It is not a reward. You have to tell yourself that rest is a strategy for success. Rest is a strategy to boost your immune system. Rest is a strategy for mental well being. Rest is a strategy for recharging my physical abilities. Rest is a strategy, not a reward, right? So if you worked 36 hours straight, yes, you're going to sleep, but sleep, that's not a reward after you work that much. You need that. That should be your strategy to get as much sleep as you can. Rest is a strategy. It is not a reward. Okay. My body knows its job of healing and resetting me while I'm sleeping. Am I a good employer? I hope you caught that. My body knows its job of healing and resetting me while I'm asleep. Am I a good employer? In other words, are you getting in the way of your body doing its job? Are you getting in the way of your body's resources of doing what it needs to do? Are you getting in the way? Are you preventing your body from completing its mission of healing and resetting you? Are you a good employer? My body knows its job of healing and resetting me while I am sleeping. Am I a good employer? And hopefully you are. All right. And then finally, each night sleep recharges me for tomorrow's success. This is telling you that tomorrow is going to be successful right after you get this good night of sleep. Each night of sleep recharges me. It reinvigorates me. It renews me. It reminds me of tomorrow's success. Each night of sleep recharges me for tomorrow's success. Kings, my final thought for today's show is this. We live in a culture that treats exhaustion like it is a participation trophy, like it's a badge of honor, right? And they treat sleep like it's a disease or like it's a crutch. But the truth is, every time you sacrifice rest, every time you sacrifice sleep, all you're doing is weakening the foundation of your mindset. You are weakening your immune system. You are weakening your ability to handle anxiety. You are weakening your mind's ability to deal with critical situations. Sleep is not optional. It is mission critical. I'm going to say that again. Sleep is not optional. It is mission critical. Sleep sharpens your focus. It regulates your emotions. It strengthens your physical abilities, and it fuels your discipline to be able to even do all of these things. Without sleep, you are simply running on fumes, and you will always be driving uphill with a trailer of fatigue attached to you. Without sleep, you are running on fumes, and you will always be driving uphill with a trailer full of fatigue attached to you. So here's the challenge. Here is the challenge. We got to stop glorifying the burnout, the hustle, the grind, right? Stop elevating exhaustion. Stop celebrating exhaustion, right? Stop pretending that pushing through fatigue makes you stronger. It does not, right? Your true strength is in the discipline to rest when the whole world is telling you to grind. Right? Because what's going to happen when you grind through and grind through and grind through and then you get sick and you're not here? What's going to happen when you push through and grind through and grind through and then you end up in the hospital? What's going to happen when you push through and grind through and grind through and then you can't even do the thing that you were grinding to do? Was it worth it? Is it worth it? Right? True mastery is the ability to treat sleep as a strategy and not a reward. And we said that earlier. That's true mastery. Because at the end of the day, your mind can't outwork your biology. It can't. Your mind can't outwork your biology. If you want clarity, if you want focus, if you want durability, if you want energy, if you want health, you must honor the tools that amplify. You must honor the tool that amplifies this thing. There are others, but we're talking about this tool. So if you want those things, you have to honor this specific tool that amplifies and elevates all of the things that I just mentioned. Sleep is not the pause button in your progress. It is the play button in your power, in your performance, and your potential. I'm going to say that one more time before I get on out of here. Sleep is not the pause button in your progress. It is not. Sleep is not the pause button in your progress. It is the play button in your power, in your performance, and in your potential. As always, Kings, thank you for joining me on this segment of Master Your Mindset, the 7 dimensions of mindset. And as always, before you get up out of here, I need you to do one thing. You know what it is. I need you to check your vibe. Because when your mind is bright, then you can vibe right. Yes, indeed. People, if this podcast has shifted your mindset or moved you to change your vibe, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with somebody that you love, somebody that you care about, or someone that you believe can vibe in a new way. Leave me a review, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at KingYesIndeed. Also, if you are interested in vibe, coaching, consultation, please email me at kingyesindeed@gmail.com. Let's find more personally tailored approach to your vibe. And yeah, I give one-on-one coaching. I can do group coaching through mind or vibe or mindset coaching classes. Until next time, people, check your vibe. Mind bright, vibe right. Yes, indeed.